Hey, Gamers Expo, it's me, Kyle Hebert, the voice of the narrator from Dragon Ball Z.
Kyle Hebert, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
Again, he's going to want to hear all those questions, so please make sure to send those questions in, because your questions are probably way funnier and cooler than mine. But I'm going to ask the boring questions first. So, so you've actually done everything from voice acting in video games to anime. What's the biggest difference between doing the two?
Well, one difference is one pays a lot more, and it's not anime. Video games pay way more. And the irony is the lowest paying type of voice work there is anime dubs. Even though it's the hardest kind. Because you're acting, you may be putting on a voice, and you're also matching lip sync. Mm-hmm. Whereas in video games, if it's a Japanese game or Chinese game or wherever, you may have the reference audio and you might have to match the timing of that because the graphics aren't done yet. So you're recording them kind of piecemeal like that. But they're similar in that you record one actor at a time in the booth. The only time that you would actually be working with someone, like the whole cast recording together, is like if it were The Simpsons or Family Guy or something, like an American cartoon, they would pre-record the audio first, and then the animation gets done, in many cases overseas in Korea. Mm-hmm. And then a year or two later, it comes back, and then it's done. So I learned that. Like years ago, I did like a small part on Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes on Disney XD, and I recorded 2, maybe 3 years before the episode dropped.
Wow.
Like, wow. It's like, okay, you're going to be playing Super Skrull. And it's like, I mean, I'm a big enough nerd that I could just look up in Google. It's like, oh, I know who Super Skrull is. He's Space Hulk, basically. Like, what's his biggest line? Like, okay, I'll take it. And it's like, yay, Marvel. Yay, getting to be in a room with the whole cast. That's the coolest. When people ask me, what's the most fun you've had in a recording session. Yeah. It's getting to play off each other's performance in a cast situation. Otherwise, with anime and video games, it's just you, and on the other side of the glass, it's the director and the engineer. Or during a pandemic, it's me at home and them at home, and the engineer may be at a studio, then I'm doing a backup recording from home in my little walk-in closet recording space, which is how a lot of the anime you've seen in the past few years done, with people literally living across the country and using Zoom and Skype as a visual guide to see the lip sync for anime. Yeah.
I was about to ask that, so you had to essentially go from being a voice actor to then becoming a sound engineer.
Kind of, yes. The unsung heroes of the pandemic we're so blessed that our industry is one that continued to work and even thrive when it hit everyone in such a negative way, and people's wallets were impacted, losing work and everything. And for whatever reason, we were blessed enough to get to record, and we had to get taken by the hand and shown some things from all the various engineers. And thank God for them, because they're the ones who have to take all these different recordings from different places and on different mics and mix it into one session that makes it sound like it was all done on one mic at the same time. So you can imagine how, like I said, with anime, we record one actor at a time, and then they slowly put it together like a jigsaw puzzle, and sometimes the performances flow really well together, and sometimes maybe they don't, and then we'll have what's called a pickup session, where the actor has to pick up or re-record a line to maybe have it play off the other actor's performance and make it sound a little more natural than that. But definitely a huge concerted effort on the parts of engineers, directors, writers, audio mixers, and the actors. Of course, we're all doing our part to help make the best product possible for you guys. So
one of the cool things that you've been able to do since 2009 was voice Ryu. Mm-hmm. Was it a bit intimidating taking over that role?
Dude. Yeah, because I wasn't the first English-speaking one. I'm the first English-speaking one on the games. So, yeah, I tried out, and I remember auditioning for Capcom. And basically, I saw like a notebook, and it was full of all these audition scripts and they're called audition sides. The sides for each character that shows a line showing a range of emotion, like multiple lines. and all the characters had code names because they were so secretive. But I recognized them visually. It's like, I know what this is. It's like, that's not John, that's Ryu. I'm going to read for that. It's like, pick whoever you want to read for. So I tried out as Ryu and Ken and M. Bison and E. Honda and El Fuerte, just cuz. And I thought, I'm not going to get cast on this. It's too big a project. And it's like, because the mindset you need to have as a voice actor is 9 times out of 10, they're not going to hire you. So don't get too attached to it. Do the best you can in the audition, obviously, but then go back to your day. But it's hard to do sometimes.
The really cool thing, though, is that you get to come out, you get to do a lot of these really cool conventions, including some of the fans that you've been able to meet. A few of them have been sending in photos. You can see that one right there.
What?
Yeah, they've been able to send in some photos, so there's that one.
That's true. That happened yesterday.
And then there's that one as well that just popped up.
Average 5 remembers. Yeah.
It's just so cool, and it's better than just hearing from someone on social media, or even we're doing the online thing during pandemics where we have live streams, autograph streams, where we sign and talk to the fans and then drop your autograph in the mail afterwards. It will never top actual face-to-face encounters that we have at cons. So thank you guys for helping support the community, coming out to the shows in person and telling us your stories about how you were inspired or entertained or whatnot. That's like icing on the cake. We get to do like the coolest job on the planet, have fun, getting paid to pretend, and then hearing about how that affected you emotionally or spiritually or any sort of way. And then we're finding out that, it's like actors are almost like therapists for people. It's like people are seeing something that in common in relation to the characters they're helping portray and all that. And that's an amazing feeling.
Well, a lot of them have questions, so I'm going to get to some of the questions that they've been writing before I get back to some of mine. So one person from the audience actually asked, how did you come up with the voice of Fat Gum?
Fat Gum. Well, that was easy because director Colleen Clinkenbeard, who you also know as Luffy from One Piece, and the current voice of Kid Gohan on, Kai and a lot of the video games and everything. She directs My Hero. And she reached out online because I was already living in California and said, hey, I got a character I want you to try out for. It's like, oh, sweet. I'll try out for this guy. And I gave him a more cartoony voice in the audition. It's like, all right, I love what you did, and I think you're going to totally nail it. So congrats. You're the guy that we want you to try out for. You are now Fat Gum. It's like, thanks. Great. It's like, all right, so let's go less cartoony. Just use your own voice. Just higher pitch because he's younger. Like, oh, okay. Hi, nice to meet you. It's Fat Gum. Hi, who wants candy? I'm not hitting those high notes here, but yeah. So that was pretty cool. I love it when there's a character that's just my own voice. Gohan, Kiba, all that stuff. It's like it's you. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have to try too hard.
So,
like that.
Speaking of that, someone actually asked, because you're such an animated person, in real life, they've all been able to meet you. Do you sometimes use your narrator voice in real life just for fun?
No, but I should. I need to, TikTok something and just go through McDonald's. It's like, I'd like a Big Mac or a Quarter Pounder with cheese and Super Saiyan size that. And then videotape it because I don't know. I would probably end up cracking up and just feeling bad for the drive-through person, or they would be the one time you get someone that's taken the drive-through orders and they have no idea what anime is and doesn't know Dragon Ball. It's like, all right, smart guy, pull through. Go away. Yes, sir, I'll do that. And then pull up. It's like, great, that'll be $5.95, thanks. Well, this is not going to be a viral video. Never mind. But I should do that, and people keep daring me to.
So one of my favorite animes is actually Seven Deadly Sins. I don't know if anyone's watched that show or not. Yeah, there's a few Seven Deadly Sin fans.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a fun character to play as well.
Dude.
Very stoned, the way he speaks.
Yes. And he's got two forms. At night, he's this quaint little guy. He's so very timid. And then the sun comes out, and he's like, oh, I stand at the pinnacle of all races. Oh. His abs have abs. It's the manliest man in anime right there. The lion sin of pride, the mighty Escanor. He's pretty cool. I had no idea that show would be so huge, and so many of the fans like, that's my favorite sin right there. I'm like, dude. It's like, and you made it when they make a toy. Now there's no Funko Pop of him yet, anyway. I'm hoping, but there is a McFarlane Toys. The guy that put out Spawn and all the awesome action figures. There's a Seven Deadly Sins line, and Escanor is out there. You can go to Target of all places. It's like they have cool toys at Target now and Walmart. They have really cool collectibles, and like you're finding things like Seven Deadly Sins and Demon Slayer and all that cool stuff on mainstream store shelves.
And I'm glad that you brought up Demon Slayer, because that character, you have actually played two different characters.
Okay.
So let's talk about the first one, which is Kanamori, and a huge fan favorite, but very little speaking lines.
Very few.
But, he's very, again, reactionary and stuff. Is it cool to be able to go from that to then something like Ryu's father, who had, a very emotional arc, a very sad arc, within the same anime.
Yeah. And the cool part is it's also for technical reasons, but we record one roll at a time. So even if I talk to myself in a scene, which has happened before, Dragon Ball Z, I had Weskai and Pikkon talking to each other. It's like, what? This is crazy. But there's time to build these things. Sometimes I'm just cast. I believe those characters on Demon Slayer, they just kind of cast me as.
Yeah.
And instead of holding auditions, why hold audition for such a small role? So they went ahead and cast the people that they've worked with many, many times through the years. So that's always nice. I get to bypass the audition part. I may try out for a bigger part and then not get it, because a lot of the roles are younger guys, and I get it. But sometimes I'll move on with my life, and then suddenly I get an email or a text going, we want you to be on this. Oh, I get to be on this after all. That's awesome. And it's like, we're going to be this. And that's kind of what happened with Seven Deadly Sins. They said, all right, with Bang Zoom Entertainment. I've been done stuff with them since I moved to L.A. in 2005. So they have been wonderful to me and given me so many opportunities, and Seven Deadly Sins was another one. It's like director of that was the voice of Gluttony from Full Metal Alchemist, Chris Kaysen. He says, we have a nice meaty role for you. But he starts off as the shy, timid little guy at the very end of season 2. And he says, but don't worry, you'll have a lot more screen time eventually. And I did. So now you can catch up and watch all the seasons on Netflix.
Yeah. So another character that is also well-loved is your character from Naruto.
Yeah.
And one of the few characters that actually gets to jump between Naruto and Baruto. What's that like, and how much are you enjoying doing that? Or how much did you enjoy doing that role?
Oh, well, with Naruto and Shippuden, obviously it's a ton of fun to get to play, again, someone that's way younger than me. Great perk to voice acting. Doesn't matter what you look like. It's great. It's like, granted, we might all sound like teenagers with mortgages, but hey, it works, right? The fan base loves it, and we love doing it. So as long as that character comes back, I'm there. Funko Pop has a version of him coming out later this year. I'm pretty stoked for that. But yeah, it's great to hear that side characters get so much love from the fans.
Oh, yeah.
They may not have the same amount of screen time, but they're making a huge impact for various reasons. And it's like, that's one of them. And I'm happy that, he didn't get killed off or anything. He's not a dad like Naruto is, but he's older. His hairline's receding, and he's rocking a soul patch.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
So someone in the audience actually asked, Fat Gum has a pretty interesting quirk and can absorb impacts and get pretty fit in the process. What would actually be your quirk and why?
That's a good one. I'm going to have to think about a good answer. You think you can have to work on my improv skills? Good Lord. Because I'm usually like, what DBZ power or what superpower would you want? Instant transmission. That's easy. Teleportation, man. I want to be able to just teleport. I don't want to sit in a car and sit in traffic all day. I want to just instantly appear somewhere.
Well, especially if you live in L.A., then that's...
Oh, God, yeah. You guys have no idea, do you? What is on the West Coast, man, it's parking lot out there. Even in Dallas, I hear Dallas has comparable bad traffic. Houston was the number one for many years too. Traffic. It's like, yeah, just teleport, just beam somewhere. A quirk, golly, I don't know. It's an interesting one that Fat Gum has because it's fat absorption, and then the more punches he absorbs, he becomes Fit Gum.
Yeah.
But he doesn't stay in that form. He goes back to Fat Gum. So it's like, all right, so that's an interesting dietary technique. I'm not sure. Is there a teleporting hero in my?
I don't know. Is there one? No, I guess there's not.
Well, all right, then I want to teleport. I want that to be my quirk. I'll take it.
A couple of fans in the audience have been asking about a couple of different shows, and they just want to know what your most memorable moment from some of these shows was.
Okay.
So we'll start with the first one, which is doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And so that one's been done for a while.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Stardust Crusaders is the third series. They're on to what, 6?
Yeah.
I think?
Something like that. So what was it like? What was your most memorable experience working on that show?
Dude, the memorable experience started before we even recorded it. Because the meme of the the charity thing, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to dub this? What? And then eventually we dubbed it. Like, oh my God, that show earns its name. What's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? It is underline the bizarre in that title. Tony Oliver directed it, and he also directed me on Gurren Lagann with Kamina and everything. And I usually have a phrase when it's hard to put into words something that's just so strange. You just say, "Oh, Japan." That's one of those shows. So yeah, and another one that I totally underestimated how big the fandom was until like, oh my gosh, it's huge. It's like, this is major, major, major. I've met so many fans, and still to this day, so many fans that come up and they love Stardust Crusaders and they love Kakyoin, and it's like, man, this is really great. I had no clue.
So, have there ever been, obviously, other than JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because sometimes you guys do such quick rolls that it's just a quick turnaround, but have there been any shows that later on you found out and you're like, I'm not going to show this one to my family? I'm going to kind of avoid this one.
Yeah, there's some things that are on the more extreme end. It's like, I had no idea. But there's also not enough hours in the day. We have that first world problem. It's like, I'm working too much. Like I can't see everything that I'm in and all that. So I have to kind of trust the fans to even remind me what I've done. Like, what have you done, Kyle? And I no. If they tweet at me and say, hey, nice job in so-and-so, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in that. And they'll tweet me a picture of the character, and then I'll suddenly have a flashback like, oh yeah, I did do that. Okay, cool. But nothing too embarrassing. I remember the first thing that I worked on 22 years ago was Dragon Ball Z. And I recorded like an episode of when Gohan or whatever is doing something in high school or whatnot. And I played it for my parents. And they watch for 10 seconds like, that's nice, son. Like, okay, that's the cue that they're zoning out. This is not for them. But on the same token, they were very, very proud because they knew how much it meant to me. I was a fan first, and then I made a lifelong dream come true is getting cast and getting to do voice acting for animated stuff. So it was great. Great.
And I'm glad that you bring that up. You said that you were a fan first, and then you started getting into a lot of these animes. Is there one... obviously, Dragon Ball is probably the number one, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is there any one that you watched and eventually got cast and you're like, whoa, I can't believe I'm in this. This is a dream come true.
Any of these huge tentpole franchises through the years, Naruto, Bleach, golly, it just goes on and on. There's always things. I mean, I have such a small part, but getting to be an Attack on Titan. I mean, I got squished, but I'm not alone in that thing. Just a very small guy named Mitabi in season 1, I think episode 11 and 12. He wasn't around very long. But getting to be in Full Metal Alchemist is another really, really big, impactful show. I was Vato Fallman on that, one of Roy Mustang's dudes. He looks like Brock from Pokemon because his eyes look closed all the time. But yeah, it's like I have to pinch myself sometimes when it's like, am I really doing this? I get to be a part. What? And then My Hero again. It's just like another huge win.
Now, because you've had so many roles, has there ever been one that's been the most difficult? This is from a fan that's been asking that asked in the audience.
Yeah.
What has been the most difficult role that you've actually had to do?
It's never a role, it's what I have to do with it,
Okay.
a.k.a. screaming a lot. So you think, okay, so Ryu or Gohan, yeah, those were problematic for the vocal cords, but actually it's a couple of video games that totally tore I just shredded the vocal cords on. I was on the first Titanfall game, just a background soldier.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the game and you're hearing all this battlefield chatter. No, move, incoming, blah, blah, blah. And I had nothing to do except scream for all my lines because I'm on the battlefield. That's my role. I'm a soldier. So Titanfall was one of them. Another one is Red Faction Armageddon, where I'm another soldier. This time I think I'm Mars or something, but still a soldier. And nothing but screaming from the top of my lungs the entire time. And yeah, I sounded like a gargle razor blades at the end of that session. Couldn't really do anything for a day or two after that. So that was tough. But fortunately, they have miracle things like Chinese cough syrup. Believe me, that stuff works. I don't take it for coughs. I take it to save my vocal cords. So a couple of spoonfuls of Chinese cough syrup before you start screaming, and a couple during the session, and then at the end, you can still talk. Oh, it's a miracle. But yeah, hot tea, honey, lozenges, throat sprays. We got to use every trick in the book because this is our moneymaker right here. And if that isn't working, we can't work and we can't make money. So yeah, that could be a real challenge.
Now, someone in the audience is obviously looking to follow in your footsteps. They actually asked, and I don't know exactly who asked this, and feel free to go up to him afterwards, but they asked, what would you want to say to someone who wants to get into voice acting?
Run! Go find a real job. Go out there. No, I'm just kidding. No, you need to follow your dreams. I'm a big believer in people trying everything they can, taking baby steps to achieve their dream, whatever it is. This is a freelance job, like artists, like musicians, like an individual business owner. You are your own boss, which is awesome, but you also take all the burden, which is never knowing where your next paycheck is coming from. Mm-hmm. And in the case of acting, voice acting is just another form of acting. It's just it's having a thick skin, understanding and accepting how competitive it really is, and the fact that you're not going to work, not because you suck, but because there's so many other people out there all vying for these jobs, and there's only so many jobs to be had. So the people either they listen to your voice or your demo, your audition, and think this is the guy or gal, or they think nope, and they move on. It's not personal.
Yeah.
You take all the acting classes in the world, which you should. You should build that acting foundation first. It's not about doing voices or doing impressions. Your friends and your family love you. It's a great party trick, but it's not going to get you into the industry. Being a fan, not enough to become a working professional. Just like you got to go get a degree for certain jobs. You don't have to get a degree in acting, not unless you want to, I guess, teach it maybe. But I would definitely tell people to build that foundation first. Work with acting coaches. Now with the pandemic stuff, you can get LA voice coaches on Skype or Zoom with you to teach you one-on-one and help you hone your skills and help you find what your strengths are. Because every demo is going to showcase different things that people can do best. The Johnny Young Bosches of the world, the Yuri Lowenthals and whatnot, Bryce Papenbrook, they're great hit hero voices. That's why you hear them be the heroes on so many shows. And there's different people that have a really wide range of voices. They tend to be cast as utility actors, the kind that come in and do all sorts of bit parts and more zany stuff and things all over the spectrum. To be a voice actor doesn't mean you have to be able to do all that. So don't feel the pressure to be like, I got to be zany like Billy West and do all these crazy, kooky voices to be a voice actor. Nope. There are many voice actors who just use their own normal speaking voice and they paid their dues, and many years later they're able to make a living doing that. But understand it's not going to come fast. It's not going to come cheap. And you kind of carve your own path. You could take all those acting classes, have all the talent in the world, and still not get hired. Still want to try it? I would encourage you to, because Even if you don't get hired, you're going to learn something. You're going to be able to take something positive out of any experience in life. You're going to learn what not to do. You're going to learn what could have worked better. You're going to learn the things that you tried. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad I did that. It's all, we're here on this world for one spin around the globe. We got one lifetime. So take that chance. It's like, well, I'm too young or I'm too old. Or it's like, no, you're not. Just do it. Just try it. Will it work? Probably not. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. I'm not going to puff smoke up your butt and just say, you're going to definitely did it. Like, because there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. But I believe that it's worth trying and having it not work out instead of wondering what if. Instead of having that sense of, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I really wish I'd done that. It's like, no. I want to meet someone who says, you know what, I tried this and it didn't work out. But what I learned from that is I learned more about blah, blah, blah. And I ended up being fascinated by blah, blah, blah. And ended up mastering blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
So go do the thing. I encourage you.
Awesome. Give him a round of applause for that. That was passionate. I feel inspired.
Inspired.
Yeah.
Follow your dream. Even if you can't achieve it. It's still worth trying.
So there's a couple of other questions that came in. I want to run through these really quick. I know some of them you can't answer, but we're going to ask anyway.
No.
What can you tell us about Gohan's final fight in new form in the new Dragon Ball movie?
NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Go to the theater on August 19th. Pre-order your tickets in July and pack the theaters, including IMAX and select screens. Go see it. Dragon Ball Super, superhero. Find out if Gohan will be great again. He better. He's got to. He's got to.
What was your favorite? Do you like and I think you answered this yesterday, but I'm going to ask anyway. Someone in the audience asked, do you really like playing a villain or a hero because you played a really cool villain like, and I'm going to screw this up, Aizen? Aizen. There we go. Aizen.
Yeah. I really love playing anything because the geeky cop-out answer is I get to play people that I'm not. So any chance to do that, whether it's Man A who goes, and then he's dead, or someone who's there for a whole series, like Aizen. He's the villain, but he's not yelly, shouty, screaming, like mustache-twirling villain. He's just very calm and creepy, but friendly. You almost trust him, don't you? Welcome to my soul society. It's like, yeah. So, and dude's the only guy who can rock a mullet. Okay?
Yeah.
He can rock a mullet and no one will say, it's so 90s. It's like, it's a nice mullet. Yeah. So, yeah, good guys, bad guys. I've all had my share, but yeah, I'll do it all, Dan.
So this is completely out of kayfabe. This is not going to be
Kayfabe, yay!
Who do you personally think is the strongest sin? I'm from Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah.
I'm not biased or anything. Escanor, mighty Escanor. I mean, come on, look at the guy.
Yeah.
Muscles have muscles. So.
Someone in the audience, I don't know who, and I'm very curious why they want to know this. What's your favorite fruit? I really want to know who asked that question. Right here.
Favorite fruit? Okay.
I don't know how that passed through the.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, if they're in season, a watermelon or a peach. Something sweet like that. I love basically any berry. I'll tell you one that I absolutely hate, grapefruit. That's nasty. That's like sweat and BO, man. Fruit.
This is a grapefruit area. They grow grapefruits here.
Well, hey, knock yourself out. If you love it, it's just a matter of opinion. Go for it. But to me, it's just like, no. Just no. But that's all right.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can ask this question correctly. Okay. What do you think of Gurren Lagann many years later?
I'm still getting love for that show, for Kamina, fan favorite character, because he's so inspirational and positive. even though he's there for only a third of the show. But he made a huge impact. And I love hearing how that show helped people, helped them get out of a depressive funk or helped inspire them and get out of various places of difficulty in their lives. And hearing that is just, that's inspiring to me to keep on having fun with this career, doing the best that I can, to do the best I can by the fans to give something that the creators in Japan are proud of for a worldwide audience. And, we're all grateful because without them, without you guys, we wouldn't get to do this.
So I know you can't answer too much, but what can we expect from you over the next couple of months, I guess? Let's keep it short. Let's keep it relatively closer where you're not going to break any packs here.
Well, the Dragon Ball movie, that's been announced. And so has Street Fighter 6. That's been announced.
Yes.
What else has been announced? I don't know. I hope they remember to call me if they're going to do this last Bleach arc. That would be nice. I don't see why they wouldn't, but, stranger things have happened. So I will be waiting in the wings for us to get to do that final arc in Bleach. Other than that, there are other projects coming down the pike, and as soon as I have the freedom to announce, I will. So follow me on Twitter, @KyleHebert.
That's what I was going to ask you. Twitter's the best place to find you.
It is. And I have my own podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to give it a try. It's just me doing geek news and doing character voices, original character voices that I interact with. So they edited to sound like they're happening at the same time. And it's comedy / nerdy news. So it's called the Intergalactic Boombox. And you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. And it's just me once a week for 15 minutes, having fun, doing this theater of the mind, crazy, funny skits, funny sound effects, and original characters telling you nerdy things and reviews, talking about Star Wars and Marvel and tech news and all sorts of things. And I try to make it very fast-paced and interesting and funny. So Intergalactic Boombox, please give a listen, and hopefully you like what you hear.
Well, I'm going to listen to it. There's one last question that someone had asked, and they asked it 3 times. So I'm gonna have to ask you. They want to know if you can say something. Oh my goodness! In Sayanam. Saiyaman?
Guardian of the city, I am the great Saiyaman, protector of justice. He just sounds like kind of a game show host.
Yeah.
And a superhero. So, gotta love the great Saiyaman.
Well, they absolutely love it, and they all love you, and that's why they're here. And make sure you guys go visit him at his booth. He's going to be there. Not very much. Look, Gohan's almost over, so you guys got to go visit him before he takes off. Everyone, please give a warm round of applause one more time for Kyle Hebert. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. No, give it up. Come on. Cheer louder if he walks off.
Yeah. Next time on Dragon Ball Z.